This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Hey, it's Christina.
Hey, it's Jen.
Hey, it's Kate.
Real Estate Misfit Moms. Okay, so what kind of mom are you?
What do you mean?
Like, what if you had to pigeonhole yourself into something and label yourself in a world where we're not supposed to label anything, or we're supposed to be super labeled? What would you say that kind of mom you are?
Strict?
Anxious.
Oh, I think that's every mom now.
Okay. My husband would tell me I'm the no parent. I very much say no. We'll do that later. Maybe later. I mean, I guess I'm the maybe later parent. Like, maybe we'll do that later. Probably not, though, because I'll forget. Like, Jillian will always be like, Mom, can you make me a sandwich? Yeah. 30 minutes later. Mom, can you make me... Oh, sorry, I forgot. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I would label myself as, like, a specific mom. Because, like, sometimes I'm not a very good mom. And some days I'm, like, a really overachiever mom. And some days I'm a dance mom. And some days I'm just a mom.
Yeah.
What would you say that you are? What kind of mom are you?
I really...
Are you crunchy? Is crunchy one? I'm not.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
have insane patience.
Oh.
I wish I had your patience.
I do not.
Until I don't. If that makes sense?
Yes.
So, like, there's certain things that I'm automatically at a 10 because you did, like, lying. I don't do it.
Mhm.
I can't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
hate that.
I don't care if it's something dumb. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
Now, if you tell me the truth and you know you did wrong or whatever, I'm going to be upset and we're going to talk about it and all the things. But you lie?
We're done.
Hell hath no fury. I'm coming. Like, I don't
Yeah.
play it. I don't like it. But other than that, like, I have really insane patience
So you're the
I wish-
patient mom.
You're the patient
for
mom.
most things.
Are you the patient mom with his friends too? Like when friends come over and like they're being loud and obnoxious and whatever, like you're pretty patient and just being like, settle down, be quiet.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Now, some kids are a-holes though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do well. Like, don't disrespect. Don't be disrespectful. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying, like, I do teach my children to say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no,
Yes.
sir. I'm not mad at the neighbor kid if he doesn't.
Right.
But don't come over here and start trashing things. Or, you know, I've
Yeah.
had kids, like, come over and decide to see if a sword will go through the wall, and it did. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
You're not a sanctimommy, but you
Wow.
are like, be respectful.
Right. And I don't have a problem saying, no, we don't do that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't either.
No.
Right.
And my house is full of kids. Sometimes, like in the summer and stuff, there's like 12 kids at my house. You know, like, which is fine. Like, they're upstairs, like in the playroom.
Right.
They're outside. They're in and out. Whatever. Clean up your mess.
Right.
You come over to my house. Guess what? Before you leave, you have to put up everything that you got out because I'm not your maid.
Right.
Your mama can come over and clean up if you want. When my kid goes to your house, guess what? She makes a mess. She's going to clean it up. Tell her.
Right.
Say, hey, you got to pick up. And she will because that's what she wants at our house.
Right.
So we feed snacks everywhere. Like, clean up your trash.
Yeah, you can have 52 snacks. I don't care.
I don't care either.
Yeah.
Even though I might not even let my kid have.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you want them, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't care.
Don't leave don't say you want a soda and take one drink out of it and sit on the counter and leave. Guess what? Next time you come over, I'll be like, here, don't forget your soda.
Yeah.
Take it with you because I
It's
don't
a
want
good
it.
soda.
Well, and I think with my like really good friends like you guys, or like I have a great neighborhood like mom group and
Mhm.
whatever, like I feel like it's zone parenting. Like
Yes.
I'm never upset when they like correct my kid, yell at
Yes.
my kid, or like if my kid steps in a fire ant pile, like it's whatever parent can get to them first and hose
Yes.
them down or whatever.
Right.
Like it's
Yep.
it's zone defense at
Right.
that point. When it's that many kids, it's zone defense.
Always.
Right.
And but like as a lone mom, like in my own house, I'm like the millennial gentle parenting. Like I like to say, like I try really hard not to be the yelling mom, because that's kind of my go-to when I'm mad, is like I just like to get the anger out initially. I tend to be
I
a
yell.
yeller, and I hate that about myself.
Me too.
Because then all that does is make my kid feel like crap. Like they don't learn anything from it because I've yelled.
Yeah.
And I hate that. So it's like as much as I'm not trying to be the gentle like mom where I'm constantly like, I feel like petting my child, like, oh, it's okay. Like, let's
Mhm.
talk through our feelings. I'm like, hey, it's okay to have big emotions, but we're not going to do that. And I've been on the phone with Jen where my kids are whining about something. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, you can feel that way, but you're not going to then go hit your brother or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to act like a fool. Like, you're not
Right.
going to be that way.
Right.
And I feel like I think that there is some culture now that is, and I'm not trying to be a sanctimony, but I think there's some culture where it's just like, oh, kids have to learn on their own, and we're just going to talk through how that makes other
Right.
kids feel
You're
and
going to
their
correct
emotion.
them,
But it's too like hands
Yes.
off where I'm like, hey, no, we're not
Yeah.
doing that. That's not safe. That's not nice. Those are ugly words. Like all of the things, like we're very, I tell my boys all the time where I think that in my opinion, a lot of this culture is lost is you will be a gentleman. You will be a gentleman. You
Yeah.
will
I've heard you
open
say
a
that.
door. I'm like, is that how a gentleman acts? And even when we were in the grocery store, it was HEB in Woodway, Aaron Hewitt, and it was just, that one is more stressful than the one on Wooded Acres to me because it's so much
Agreed.
smaller and it's so jam-packed with people.
Mhm.
And I was in the produce aisle and the boys each had their own cart because, some battles it's not worth fighting.
Right.
And so they each had their own cart and I was holding Theo and it was packed and there was a dad and I saw him coming and his two girls were pushing their cart. And I said, boys, I need you to pull over and be a gentleman because there's two girls coming through. And the dad just looked at me and he goes, no one ever says that. And I was like, because boys need to learn how to be
Yes.
gentlemen.
Open the door. I teach mine that.
Hold
Hold the door.
Hold the door.
Yes.
If there's an older lady or man, ask them if they need help putting their groceries in. Do something that makes you a human and not just a turd.
But like I have the only girl of us three. And so like you teach your kids to be gentlemen and I'm like my kid's still sasshole sometimes. So I have to remind her that like you don't get to act like that just because there are some boys out there that are rude. So she's got to be kind too. So she is definitely a yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir. If she meets Christina and Kate, it's Miss Kate, Miss Christina.
Mm-hmm.
And then those are what I have to teach her because she is a girl, but I also teach her to open the door, help people. Like, so it's not just where boys have to be taught that like we live in a society where like men should respect women. Women should also respect men.
Agreed.
People
People should be respectful.
Everybody should respect it. So as we're raising these tiny humans, like we have to look at it in a whole too. Like what you're doing is fantastic. And I love that. And I love that people are seeing it and it's being reciprocated and they're commenting on it. But in the whole too, like I would have said the same thing. Hey, let's move over. Mm-hmm. Even though I have a girl, because it's respect for human nature. Like I'm going to move over because someone else is coming. It's just one of those things like we all raise tiny humans to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
Regardless of the way you parent versus the way I parent, because I just realized I am the yelling parent, but I yell at everyone and my voice is very loud all the time.
Yeah. And what's the hardest thing for me is I have to parent my two kids that I have to parent. Like I don't parent Theo yet. Like he's just a potato, but he is.
It's a potato.
He's a hot potato. Literally hot. But my two kids are so polar opposite that I have to parent them so differently. Like
mine are too, yeah.
James is definitely the one that I have to parent, like that gentle parent. Like I really have to like rein it in myself to like get down on his level, talk to him, like be like, look at me in the eyes, use your words, tell me what's going on. Like, because
But does he like to look at you in the eyes when you ask him to look you in the eyes?
No, but he has ADHD, and it's really hard for kids with ADHD to make eye contact.
But Jillian won't look at me either when I tell her to look at me. I'm like, look at me. Like, let's talk about look at me. And she'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, look at me. She's like, like, what am I doing?
It's only when he's like, he can't handle it.
Yeah.
Because James bottles and bottles and bottles and bottles. So like he'll have a really bad day, but it's something that really upset him like 4 days prior. And it's like, it takes me a long time to get it out of him. And like, he's got anxiety about certain things. And it's just like, God love him, he has all my bad qualities, and anxiety is one of them. And so it's like I can see that in him. So it's like I'm trying to get down on his level and make him understand like it's okay to have big emotions, but when you don't get your way, throwing a tantrum is not the
Right.
appropriate way.
No.
But with Everett, if I were to try and do that with him, he would just be like, okay, and then continue to do it over and over and over again. So then I become the yelling mom. And then when I try and discipline him, he laughs like a sociopath. And he's just like, and he like
so
thinks,
stinking cute.
he thinks that if I bat my baby blues, you're just going to love me regardless because I'm Everett and you can't get mad at me. And I'm like, and he's me. And I literally have had that on my report card when I was a kid where my dad got brought into a parent teacher conference and they said, she just thinks that she can bat her baby blues and get away with just about anything. And I was like, oh my God, I've replicated myself.
Yeah.
Because that's 100% him.
Yeah.
And so it's very different dealing. Like I'm so much sterner when I talk to him than I am with James because James will take it so much harder and internalize it.
That's
for
good that
days
you
and
know
days
that,
and
though.
days. It took time.
Yeah.
And like it still takes a lot to not just like lose my ever living shit when it takes me 40 minutes to get out of the house because one kid is moving like as slow as molasses and the other one is outside digging in the dirt and rubbing it all over his face. And we're trying to go somewhere where we look like normal. Like that's my life.
I would lose my fucking mind.
That's my
No,
why
like
you
I'd be
got-
like, get in the fucking car.
Oh,
We're leaving. I'd be
that's
like,
me.
but first we need to clean your face because that's gross. Who has a wipe?
Yeah.
I don't have any photos of my kids with food on their face, paint on their hands. No.
Really?
No. So like when baby Theo vomits, I'm like, oh, let me clean this up for you. Can I wipe your sleeve off too? Like, no, I have never been that. No. Like I will scroll past people's pictures if their kid has food on their face.
So you scroll past all of my pictures
No.
of Everett.
Well, let's be real. At the open house last week, Everett had icing all over him and I wiped it off because I couldn't. Here, let me get that off for
You
you.
sure did. Now that you said that, I do
Yeah.
remember you doing that.
Because I literally can't handle it. I'm like, no. Josh
As an adult, I
always has
appreciate
it, and
you
I'm like-
wiping things from my face. Just
I'm
so
like,
you know.
"Ugh." I'm like, go wash your face. He's like, I did. I was like, well, you missed this whole half and I don't want to look at it. It looks like you got poo on your face. Because it's always like chocolate. I can't.
My husband's kind of that way.
Ugh.
I'm like, eh.
Yeah. I'm
No.
like, look, if you're happy, there's some battles in my household it's not worth me having.
No.
And if you have food on your face and you're going to throw a fit and it's going to make us 20 minutes late because you threw a fit, like that's going to make my anxiety and my anger just ramp up to the point where it's like, that's not worth it for me. That's
But
not
I
worth
think my
it.
kids are just used to it now.
Yeah.
Like, every time we get out of the car, I'm like, Josh, wipe your mouth. Go wash your hands. Wipe your mouth. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
No. My kids are just used to it now. So that's not a
Yeah.
delay for us. But like I would lose my mind if my kid was playing in the dirt right before we had to leave. I'd be like, the fuck are you doing?
That's my kid, like 100%.
But I'm like on one track mind. Like I'm like, we're late,
Yes, well that's
but
me.
we're not late.
My husband calls it business Kate. Like I get in business mode. Like I'm like, I've got to go to school. I got to get to work. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm like, everything is like in time sections.
Yes.
And so it's like, if I missed it,
Yeah.
like Will this morning, like I was annoyed because I was late and Will was like, you're not late. You're fine. And I'm like, it's 7:35. Like, I'm like 7:20. And he's like, you're fine. You're going to get to school on time. And we did. And I know that. But in my head, 7:20 feels better
Yes.
than 7:35
Right.
because I don't feel like I'm like, hurry up, James, get your folder out. Hurry up. Because I walk my kids in. And it just feels so much more stressful to me when I'm walking in like right before the announcement starts as opposed to them like getting their day, like getting situated at their desk. Not Everett, but James getting situated at his desk, getting his stuff out, whatever. Because
Right.
James just moves at a slower pace. Like Everett is very me, where it's just like
Let's
we're
go.
we're here, we're there, we're here, we're there, we're up, we're down, we're left, we're right. Like that's Everett. But James is like, did you ever notice the pattern on the ground and how I took the time and I counted all of them? Did you know that there's 72 squares on this particular section of the carpet? I think we should appreciate that. And I'm like, God, I love you, but that's just my brain does not do that.
Like, I don't care.
I'm like, why
Oh
does
my
that
gosh.
matter? But he's so thoughtful. Like He is so thoughtful. He
That's
thinks about
great,
everything.
though.
It is, but it drives
His
me.
wife will appreciate it one day.
Yes, and
Spouse,
he
whatever.
appreciates everything
Yeah.
in like the world, in other
That's great,
people.
though. Where'd that come from?
Will
Okay.
wasn't me.
It's
My-
not Kate, if
no,
you were wondering.
My amazing husband, who is also he's not very empathetic, but he is very thoughtful. And
I love that for you.
yes, he is. I mean, not in all things. I mean, we all
Right,
have our
of
husband
course.
things, but like he is very thoughtful, and like he has spent years trying to like get my coffee right to a T. And if he is home in the morning, I will never walk out the door without coffee, because he will make it for me without a tea.
Oh,
Every night he fills up my water cup. He knows.
So jealous.
I love that.
He is a very,
I didn't know that.
very, very thoughtful. His parents are also incredibly thoughtful, and I don't know. It was definitely a very beautiful blend of nurture and nature for sure. But
Yeah.
he is so thoughtful, and he is a very present dad when he's home, and that
Yeah.
makes a big difference. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm just very lucky where I've heard other people say like the dads are home, but they're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But Will is present. Like he will play the video games, explain the football, go outside and throw the frisbee, and then we do stuff as a family. But like he's not just sitting on the couch doing nothing.
Yeah. Jared is a very present dad, like for everything. Like, obviously, we all know that I have a blended house.
Right.
He has not missed one of my stepson's doctor's appointments, not gone to a dentist appointment even during COVID when he couldn't go in. He would wait in the car because only one parent could go in. He goes to every school thing. Every Thursday he goes to lunch with him because that's the day we can go. Then he picks him up for car rider. So he's a car rider every Thursday and Friday. And we plan all of our weekends based off of like when we're going to have him. Then Jillian, same thing. Never missed a doctor's appointment. Doesn't miss dance.
I've missed doctor's appointments.
Yeah. Never. Like literally
Love that.
never. He is like the most in your face. Like my kids
It's gonna
fight
be
over.
really hard for him when he starts his new job. I
I
feel
know. Yes.
it's gonna be really hard for him.
I think so too. And he's really, that's why he's picking Jillian up every day this week from school as a car rider. Because normally
Yay.
she rides the bus because I live 5 minutes from the school.
Right.
And so he's very like, oh, let me do this and let me take you to school. And do you want me to take you to school? And I'll pick you up from school. And like, what do you want to do?
Did
And
he
like,
grow up that way?
No, he grew up from a separated family.
so it's like maybe compensation.
It's interesting
might
how
be.
people get things for the completely opposite
Yeah.
reasons.
And but I think that he is the present dad he is because when his parents divorced, it wasn't pretty. And there was
Yeah.
like, he didn't see one parent versus the other. And there was a choice to be made. And, but that's not my story to tell.
Right.
So like, he is very present, very in your face, never misses anything. And I think that like my kids love that so much.
Right. I'm sure.
That like Josh, I have to just say his name. I can't just keep. Josh is very much his miniature in the way he is.
Yeah.
Because he wants to be there for everything also. And he hates when he misses out.
Oh, yeah.
But he wants to be present. He goes to his sister's dances.
I
He's
love
like, I'll
that.
go to practice if I was here. Well, that's on Tuesdays. We don't have him.
Yeah.
Like he wants to go. He's like, sister, how many do I get to go to this year? Like he already knows,
I love that.
because he's raised that way to see the
Right.
present. So like in the way we're raising, like you raise a nurturing, like he's so nurturing and thoughtful. Josh is very present and Jillian is very present,
Yeah.
but she's like my little mother hen too. Like she would do anything. If you have a boo-boo, she's going to go find you a Band-Aid. If you
Yeah.
fell down, I'm going to help you get up.
Mhm.
But then if she falls down, it's the end of the world and somebody needs to help her. And if she's not being helped,
Right.
then it's definitely the end of the world.
Yes,
Because she wants to feel,
that's how
What-
she feels love.
yes, she wants to feel loved the way she gives her love.
Is there one of those love tests or love languages for kids?
But I think they're too young.
That's
I
what's
think
got
they
me
fail.
in here
Yeah.
thinking about how every kid like is so different. Like I grew up in a household. We were Italian family, and I was raised by my grandparents until. Anyway, I don't even remember 5th grade something. Anyway, but my father was a yeller. Like I say Italian because Italians tend to be just loud.
Yeah.
But everybody was loud, and I hate it. Like if my husband raises his voice, I don't like it. If I've raised my voice, I'm I'm way past where I need to be. And so I think it's interesting how, but like with Brody, he doesn't do well with yelling. So like if you raise your voice with him, now he's mad at you. He might have 10 minutes ago known he shouldn't have done whatever, but now he's angry with you.
Because you shouldn't have yelled.
Because you shouldn't have yelled.
And I mean,
I yell all the time.
I do too, and I'm
like,
so bad at it. But my dad was a yeller.
I grew up.
My mom wasn't a big yeller. She had to get to like a really big point.
Yeah.
But like my dad was just, I think it was a lot of stress. I think both my parents were really, really stressed, and I think my mom sheltered us from a lot, because my mom worked 3 jobs when I was growing up, and my dad was, and it's generational, right? Like he was the breadwinner, he was the provider.
Yeah.
That was his job. Like his
Right.
job was to go to work, hate his job, provide the benefits, and come home with dinner on the table. Like that was his job. He wasn't like, he was the most affectionate, hugging and whatever with me, but I'm the youngest. And it got better with every kid. But I'm also that personality that like I wore him down. Like I constantly was just not knowing as a kid that I was doing that, but I was always like, Dad, do you want to do this? Dad, sit next to me. Dad, like, let's do this. Daddy, daddy, daddy. And like, that's how Everett is. It's just like, I want to be around you. I want to touch you. I want to like, I want to talk to you. Like Everett could talk to a wall. Like Everett talks to himself the whole way to nobody.
It's my favorite thing to hear in the background.
He talks constantly.
So
I love that
all the time.
I lost my train of thought. Actually,
Good job. I do that all day.
Cool.
every day.
But I just feel like some of it is we take what we know from our parents, and some of it is we go like the vast opposite. And
Right. You're like, I'm not doing that.
yeah, I'm not going to do that. Or even if it's like, I didn't get this as a kid, so I'm going to try and overcompensate for that. Like, I think I was talking to you where I was saying that like, because my parents worked so hard when we were kids, because we all went to private school, like my parents they had to work really freaking hard.
Yeah.
And we lived in a very expensive, it's still very expensive. Northern Virginia is extraordinarily expensive. And so everything was expensive.
Yeah.
Hence my mom working 3 jobs. And so we didn't get to do the things like going to a pumpkin patch or like going to like just do things as a family, just to do things as a family. Like we all played sports, we all did stuff, but it wasn't like, we didn't make a lot
family
of
adventure,
family memories. So I make it so strongly of a point to make those memories with my kids. And I'm like, and Will's like to a point where he's like, we don't have to do this every year. And I'm like, no, but we do.
Yeah. Because your kids remember it, because I grew up the same way. Like my parents, like I have 4 siblings. They're all half, but they're all much older than me. I am the youngest by 8 years. And I didn't grow up with any of them. None of them lived in my home, and they lived with their dads. And their mom. But it was just one of those things where I actually couldn't tell you a memory that I have with my family. Like we never did anything. Like I never went on vacations. Like legitimately, I don't know if it's like because I blacked out.
I have a lot of that.
Everything after my mom died, like, so I don't remember anything, but like, I don't even have photos. Like the memories I have are like with my grandparents, like at their house with my cousins and stuff. But like, we never did anything. Like we don't have family photos. I don't have a family photo of all 3, me, my mom, and my dad, like a professional one, or I have none of that. So I make it a point to like do those things with my kids too, to the point where Josh asked on FaceTime last night, hey, are we going to the pumpkin patch this weekend? Because it's time. Because he knows.
Yeah.
Because they know.
Yeah.
The memories, they're there. It's something they know, that they do, that they love. And so by doing it all, it's worth it. And I felt that way just yesterday when he asked that. And I was like,
it makes you, it's kind of gives
you're
you
right.
a warm
Yeah,
feeling.
like you're right, dude. It is time to go. Like, and this is the last chance we have, because we don't have you again in October. We don't go in November. That's not something we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is time for us to go.
And it is overwhelming. It can feel very overwhelming to take kids to do all the things.
Sometimes number one, it's just flat ass expensive.
It's so
Yes.
expensive.
Yes.
Everything is.
Yes. But going to those specialized pumpkin patches and doing all this, and we go to the same one every year. We have never strayed from it. And it's the one in Temple, the Robinson Family Farms. I love that place. We've been going since they opened. And my kids love it. And I love to see how much it's changed, you know? And so I'm like, but do I go somewhere else that's less expensive? No, because I know that place.
Yeah.
I know that the money is worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you talked about that like in the summer. Like you were like, we haven't done anything.
Right.
Like we haven't gone anywhere, done
Mhm.
anything. I didn't take Brody anywhere. So you were like, even for like a day or a weekend,
Right.
like, need to find something to do. And your son is like getting into that age. Like mine are younger. So like your son's
Yes.
getting into that age where it's like, hanging out with mom and dad's like, yeah, okay. Like,
Yeah.
can I bring a friend?
Right. Well, because my kids' age is so different.
Yes.
Like I have a 19-year-old and one that just turned 12. Like they're big difference. And so in many ways, and especially now, Brody's kind of an only child.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tough. And you kind of have the same situation.
I grew up that way.
Well, and it's hard because number one, even when they were both still at home,
Mm-hmm.
you know, a 10-year-old does not want to do what a 2-year-old wants to do.
Yes.
They don't. And then not to mention, like Kate said earlier, my kids are like opposite. But I did finally figure out that just do something.
Yeah.
Like legit go stay the night at a hotel that has a pool.
Stay here and wake up.
Like who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's hard because number one, because we're all kind of in real estate.
Yeah.
The last couple of years were insane.
Yes.
So it was hard to. Before you knew it, summer was over.
Yes.
Because we're busy. Not
Right.
because not because the money wasn't there.
It was
Right.
because we were too busy. You couldn't take time off because
Right.
something was happening every day,
Yep.
every week. So even if you didn't have a closing or something on a Thursday, Friday,
Something was always on
something
fire.
was
or
always
something.
on fire.
Something.
And then when you did go and you were able to get away, your phone never stops ringing. And I'm like, I guess I need to go take a vacation so my phone will ring right now.
Right.
Because that's when you're the busiest, is when you're on
Right.
vacation. And then it's like, Mom, can you put your phone down? Mom, why do you get to have your phone? Well, first of all, because I'm paying for this adventure.
Right.
Second of all, because I can. Third of all, because I'm the boss.
Okay. I have another question.
What?
How are you if another parent comes to you negatively about something your child has done?
Like,
How do you handle that?
well, like in
Are
what
you-
context?
Well, I mean, the truth of it is some people, whether I come and say, just so you know, Jillian said a bad word,
Oh, yeah.
or just so you know, Jillian just punched my kid in the mouth.
Oh, okay.
So are you accepting of those comments?
Yes. I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Literally, I'm like, well, what did you do? Like, for instance, my friend Jessica texted me and said, your daughter, funny thing, said, my brother's gay. Is Gavin gay? What?
Right? Like, where'd that come from?
Exactly. So she was like, Jillian, do you know what that means? She was like, yeah. She was like, could you tell me what it means? It was wrong. She really didn't know what it meant. She had just
Right.
heard people say it. And I have been like, I have said that, I was like, quit being gay, you know? But I know that's not the right statement now, like in life, but I'm a millennial. I grew up, those were words we used, you know?
Right.
So she doesn't know. So Jessica educated her. And she texted me, I want you to know this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, cool. Thanks so much. What'd she say? You know, so she told me the conversation. I was like, okay, cool. I'll talk to her. She's like, I don't want you to be upset that I ever said. I said, you didn't. You taught my kid something. You educated her in the right place at the right time. If my kid punches someone in the mouth, well, did they deserve it? Because my kid has been taught, if you get hit, you punch them in the mouth. They say something mean to you, punch them in the mouth. I'll deal with you later. You know, like, I know that's not the best, but once again, I'm a millennial. So, but I don't stand for bullying. So if someone's bullying her, like,
You need to stand up for
she
yourself.
needs to stand up for
Right.
herself. And that's not taught anymore.
Yes, it's very
And I told them,
hard.
you're not going to get in trouble at home. I'll get in trouble at school.
Yep.
Okay, cool, but we'll handle it at home. You'll just come home for a couple days or sit in ISS.
right.
Not a big deal. But you stood up for yourself. So if you are around my kid and she does something wrong or says something, you correct her. You educate her.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
she needs to learn from other people because they learn from other people too.
Well,
So
it's-
no, I'm not mad.
It's also like that plays into like the participation trophy. Like everyone deserves something,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not that mom.
I'm not either.
It like you know, one of my kids got to go on a field trip to a pumpkin patch, and the other one didn't, and
Yeah.
he was super upset about it. And I was like, that's just the way the world works. It's his time to go on a field trip. It's not your time.
There'll be times when it's yours, not his.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to just take you today out of school to go, because siblings were allowed. I'm not going to take you out of school to go because your brother's going. Like, no. Like, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm just
This
not.
is you time. This is us time.
Yeah, I'm not that. I'm not that type of mom where I'm like, because he gets it, you get it, and because you get it, he gets it. I'm not that mom. There are certain things like Nerf guns. Okay, I'm not gonna get James one and not Everett one.
Yeah,
like
there's certain things.
but like there are things where it's like you have to learn that this is not that you don't get it. Like
It's brother's birthday.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, and
whatever.
If you lost, you lost, fair and square. Like,
right.
Which the whole birthday thing, I had to tell family members, do not bring my kids birthday presents for the siblings on their birthday.
It's not fair.
That's not their
No,
birthday.
it's supposed to be about their day.
Who cares if they're sad? Go get them a baby doll from their bedroom and show it to them.
Yeah.
She doesn't need it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's unfair. You're going to do that for the other one?
Right.
Well. And that, like, the whole, you go, it's not your time or whatever. Well, Josh has been to Disney twice with his mom. Jillian hasn't been.
Right.
I'm like, Jillian, you haven't been yet. Okay.
Right. Well, and I feel like as society, we all think that if you have it, I should have it too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, the thing of it is you got a new car
Uh-huh.
because you worked for it, went down, you pay for it every month, blah, blah, blah. I don't need a new car.
Yeah.
You made the decision to have a new car. Like, I will probably drive my car till I have to get rid of it just because that's just the way I am.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, number one, if my kid was being a jackass, like, totally tell me.
Yes.
Oh, all
Number
day.
one, tell me. Bullying is out of control in this society, period, and especially in these schools right now.
Yes.
But if my kid was a jackass, like, knock on my door.
Especially-
I don't care.
Yeah, and especially if you've corrected him, it doesn't matter that you've corrected him. Still tell me.
Right.
Yes.
Because I'm going, if she was 100% in the wrong,
Right.
I'm going to back you 100%.
Exactly.
But I also want to know so that I can have a secondary conversation to be
Yes.
like, hey, yes, I know that you were corrected by Miss Christina, but now you have to listen to me.
Right.
And this is why.
Right.
Like, you can't, and that's the thing too, is like you have to trust your inner circle and
Yes.
that they're going to do what's right for everyone, for your children too. Because if not, then you're doing something wrong. First of all, your inner circle is not that great. If you don't trust them enough for them to be able to educate, nurture, and protect your children as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I completely agree. Completely agree. Brody's gone through some things at school, and we've had some very detailed conversations. And he came home, I don't know, last week or something. He was like, so it was so cute because I was like, my big conversation was, you have to tell me about these things. Like, I can't help you
Yes.
work through ABC if I don't even know what the hell's going on.
Yes, I have
So
that with
he-
with Jillian too, and
Yes.
they're totally different ages, 7 and 12.
Yes. He gets in the car the other day and he's literally has a sticky note. He's like, Mom, so you told me to start remembering to tell you the things, so I made a list. So he's got like 4 or 5 things on it or whatever.
On a post-it note.
It was so cute. And so one of them
I love it.
was that this kid was negatively commenting on him and another kid in the class. And he wrote under it, so I called him blah, blah, blah. I don't even remember what it was. Like, it's a word I'd never heard with. And I was like, okay, well. So you think that just because, like, somebody else made you feel bad, you should turn around and make them feel bad? Like, so now
Eye for an eye.
I cannot back you, and I cannot be upset at this child. Like, you reciprocated the same thing he
Yeah.
gave you.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Like, the thing of it is if you don't like to be called names, you can't call other people names.
Right.
And he was just taken aback because my first jump was, what do you mean you called him? Like,
Yeah.
I totally, he was, and I had to go back because he was like, did you not see the other things? I was like, I did, but like, did you really say that?
Yeah.
And that's where, and like, I can't walk around pointing, your kid's a jackass, your kid's a jackass. It might be one too.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like you kind of have to teach them how to respond to the negativity with something else.
Right.
Like a little
Mhm.
girl in Jillian's class asked her, why does your face always look like that? She said, why does your face always look like you're mad? And she goes, it's just my face.
Well, and it is.
Okay, hey, have you seen her mom's face?
Right.
I mean, I got a really good RBF. And I was like, girl, that's just your RBF, but don't say that. She's like, okay, it's just my face. But at least she knew how to respond when someone was like, why does your face always look so mad?
I know. And I think teachers are afraid to tell us when our kids are being jerks because I
Yes.
think they're so afraid for the backlash.
Yes.
But I got a text from one of my kids' teachers that my kid goes to a private Christian school, and my kid out his mouth yesterday goes, "What the hell?" And I was like, he said what? I was like, okay, I know mommy uses a lot of adult words, but I don't say that phrase. And so I'm like, I don't know where he learned it. We're going to talk about it. And she's like, I handled it. And she was so afraid. And I was like, look.
No, I need you to communicate with
Yeah.
me.
I was like, no, I'm not mad that you told me. I'm not mad if you gave him a red dojo. Like, he was a butthead. He shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I'm okay with you correcting that. You're not going to make me upset.
Yes,
Theo.
I
It's going to
completely
make
agree.
Theo upset, but it ain't going to make me upset. And I told her, I said, I love everything that you're doing. I love that you're communicating with me.
Right.
I love that you're not afraid to tell me.
Yeah.
And I love that you sat down and you talked to him and you didn't just try and assume that he, you asked me, is it something that you say in your home? And you were okay with asking me. And I'm okay answering that.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because if I did say what the hell a lot in my house, then sure. Of course
Yeah.
he learned it from me.
I may.
That's probably not the phrase I would have expected him to say that he would have learned from me.
Right. 'Cause there are some.
There are some, and I will fully admit that I sometimes have the mouth of a sailor. I know
I
it.
do, yes.
And so, but my kids don't repeat the things that I say. They very often. So I'm like, or at all. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I was so shocked when she said it, and she was so afraid. And I was like, I just want you to know that I love you, and I love what you do, and I support what you do, and I want you to talk to me about my kids. And she said that, she really needed to hear that day. And I was just, and I think teachers are so afraid
Yeah.
because they
Yes.
get
They are.
so much backlash.
I agree.
There's been so much in the media, but it's like they're with our little tiny humans or our big humans that are still tiny
Right.
in their brains because they're not truly adulting yet, that they do things wrong and they're not
Mhm.
with mom and dad. They act differently at school. It's like when I send my kids to my in-laws and I'm like, just telling you that this, and this are new behaviors. We're correcting it this way. And they make liars out of me. They're perfect angels. For them.
Yes.
Of course. And I would rather them be that way.
Yes,
Yep.
100%.
But I 100% also realize that my kid can be a total jerk, especially when they're tired and everything else. So I want the teachers to communicate because they're also the ones that are not just teaching my kids writing, math, science.
Yeah.
They're teaching my kids to interact with other kids,
Mhm.
interact with other people,
Mhm.
learning how to be humans and how
Yep.
to act
Yeah.
in society. And I want to know, are they excelling or not?
Right. And then that's another thing is like, I do feel like teachers don't call anymore.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Like, and I know because I have teacher friends that they're like, well, shit, we're scared to.
Yeah.
And I hate that. And I hate it and I hate it. And I think teachers, too much is put on to them. And that's a whole different thing. I guess we could go down that road. But my biggest thing is I try really hard. Like I did learn a lot from my parents on what not to do. I just did.
Mhm.
I did. I knew what I didn't like. I don't like you screaming at me. I'm not going to scream at you. I will, but I try to avoid it
Yes.
at all
I
costs.
think everyone has a limit.
Yes.
My limit apparently is very small since I admit that I'm a yelling mom.
Mine is very small. Like if I'm telling you something and I have told you in a very nice voice, like I just had this conversation with Jillian this morning. I was like, please brush your teeth. Go potty and brush your teeth. And I waited and I waited and I waited and I waited.
Mm.
And I said, brush your teeth. Go potty. And then I waited and I was like, brush your teeth and go potty.
No, I mean,
As
I
she's
definitely do that.
standing in the bathroom and I'm in her bedroom because I can hear when the water turns on.
Right.
And then I'm like, I will get loud again and she'll look at me and I'm like, I told you nicely once already. Sorry, I can't handle it.
Right.
Mhm.
But also as parents, that's okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am a yeller.
I really try to let my kid know that like, hey, just so you know, I screw up too.
yeah,
Mhm.
And it's also okay for you to say, hey, mom, this really, like, I didn't like this.
yeah,
I try
Yes.
really hard because as a kid, I did feel like I never had a voice.
Yes.
And so I always tell my kids, You can tell anybody just about everything. It's how you say it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you come at me ugly and rude and mom, you pissed me off because of that, you're not going to get a good reaction.
No.
But in turn, I have to know that if I come to them that way, I'm also not going to get a good reaction.
Yeah.
And I've told my kids after I've had a big old yelling fit, and then I have all the mom guilt.
Yes.
All the mom
Ugh.
guilt because I'm like, that's not what you were supposed to do, Kate. Like, you're a crap person.
Yep.
You're a crap mom.
Ugh.
You shouldn't have done that. You made your kid feel like shit. To what end? Did you win? Did they do what you
Right.
wanted them to
Nope.
do? No. At the end, they didn't because they were terrified.
Right.
And so, or at least my kids are. I can't speak for everyone's kids, but my kids are.
Yeah, mine
And
too.
I've gone into James and Everett, not as much because he doesn't really. He's like, you yelled, but like James, I go into and I'm like, it's okay to tell me, mommy, that wasn't okay. Mommy, that made me
Yes.
scared.
Yes.
It's okay to tell me those things. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He goes, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not okay that I treated you that
Yeah.
way. And I tell him that because I know.
He needs to know that you're not perfect.
Yeah, and I know that I'm wrong.
Right.
I'm not like, I need to apologize
Yeah.
when I've hurt your feelings, just like you need to apologize when you've hurt my feelings, your
Exactly.
brother's feelings. I'm apologizing because even though I'm older, I shouldn't have acted that way.
Yeah.
I acted a fool. I acted like a 2-year-old. I threw the temper tantrum. And I
Yes.
tell you, don't throw a temper tantrum. Well, I did.
Yeah.
Right.
We live a very transparent life in our house ever since, I guess, forever, but even more so when Jared got sick. We're very transparent. Like, you know what's going on. You know who has doctor's appointments. You know this. So with all of that came a whole new level of anxiety for me and like living life. And I got to the point where if I felt like I wasn't having the best day, where I knew that I was going to pop off at any moment, I would look at Jillian and I would be like, hey, I'm really not doing well today. Like, I'm not having a really good day. So I'm really going to need us to have a good day. Like, I'm going to need you to just listen today. She'll be like, okay, mommy.
Yeah.
And those days go a lot better. And then there are days where I don't realize it's going to happen and
Yep.
it happens.
Mhm.
And afterwards, I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that it was going to go this way. But obviously I'm not having a very good day today. And she'll be like, did you take your medicine? And I'm like, didn't, forgot. But, you know, because we live such a transparent life, like, I want my kids to know that, like, it's okay. Like,
Yes.
we're not all perfect. Like, just because my house looks perfect on the outside doesn't mean it is on the inside.
Yep.
Mhm.
That's
mean-
so true. And I tell my kids the same thing. Things are not always what they seem.
No.
And I don't care who you are. We all have shit. Our
Yeah.
shit may look different,
Mhm.
but we all have things we don't like about ourselves, things that we do wrong, all the things.
Yeah.
Don't judge a book by its cover. And you know, I recognize that the
kind.
people who often try and make their lives seem so perfect all the time are the ones that
Winning.
was delicious. The ones that the ones that typically behind closed doors are a hot mess.
Yep.
Yes.
And they're so afraid to let people see their flaws. And
You would feel so much better.
If
Let
you-
one person just see it.
yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, I fully admit that, like, I struggle a lot when I work with kids. Like, stress. Yes, it does. It feels just like that on the inside. It's stressful. Like, it's stressful to have kids, or like inevitably when we're on the phone and your kid's yelling in the background, like,
Oh.
you know, I'm
Yeah.
so terrified of looking unprofessional. But
To where you mute your phone and you're like, if you don't be quiet
Oh,
right
all
now,
the time.
I'm going to take away everything you own. And then
Yeah.
you're like, go get on that thing you own so I can work.
Yeah. Go get that tablet.
Go do it right now. Get away from me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi. Yes, so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I think the service dropped out for a minute.
I've done it a million
Or
times.
sometimes I'm just like, hey, could you hold on for just a second? If you don't.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, great. What were we talking about?
Yeah. And I mean, it cracks me up because I never expect any people that I know that are moms that I work with to
Yeah.
do that. But I'm so funny
all
to
the
me.
time.
But
We
I was
learn it all
talking-
the time.
Like, I was talking to Heather the other day, and she had all 4 boys with her, and so she was like, I don't know if it's the full moon, I don't know what the deal is, but they're just being like, she was like, they're just whatever, they're not themselves, and so she literally she literally like put the phone on mute and screamed at them. And I was like, you know, you didn't have to put it on mute. And she goes, I think I blacked out. I'm not even sure the words that came out of my mouth were. She goes, I don't think I would have wanted you to hear what I said. And
We've all done it.
I was like, oh, we've all been there.
We've all done it.
Like, it's okay.
We're like Cruella DeVille comes out and you're like, okay, well, I was just an asshole, so.
Well, I joke with people all the time. I'm like, being a parent is the most bipolar thing I have ever done.
Oh, my
100%.
God.
It's like in one day I may love you, and in the next moment I'm like, why did I ever choose to do this? Not once, not twice. Now we're on 3.
I'm
like,
failing
why?
at everything.
Yeah.
I
Like-
have those.
Yeah.
Why-
You just cry
Yes.
or scream.
Yeah, I get so frustrated. I end up in tears. And
I said, wonder if that's why my kids always want to know, where's daddy? They always walk around, like, Jared will walk out of the room for a minute and then they'll walk back and be like, where's daddy? I'm like, I don't freaking know. Look for him. Like, I'm not his keeper. Like, is it because I'm such a psycho? Like, nobody ever asks where mom is. Nobody. They're
I
always
think
like,
it's just every kid's
"Oh,
different.
where's daddy? Both of my kids do it.
well, I feel like kids like have a radar for moms. Like they know where you are. Even
Yeah.
when my kid is like, Mom, where are you? They know where I
Yes.
am. They know exactly
You
where
ever
My
I
kids
am.
don't ever ask for me.
You seen the video of the mom
I
that's
feel
in
like
the
they
pantry?
know where you are. Yes, and the
Eating
fingers
Twi-
come out.
And have you seen her where she's eating Twizzlers? I don't like Twizzlers. But
I
I have
love
felt that
Twizzlers.
so often
Mhm.
where you're just like, I'm going to get in the closet. You cannot see me. Leave me the hell alone. I've done that.
My kid literally
Oh, yeah.
never used to do that when she was little until now. Like, I will go to the bathroom and then she'll need me. And I'm like, could you not wait 2 freaking seconds? Like, I'm trying to go to the fucking bathroom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I just wanted to know if Kimber could play. Is Kimber standing by the bathroom door right now? Yeah. Hi, Miss Jen.
Oh, good.
Go away. Literally. I'm like, but that's the only time she ever finds me.
Yeah, my kids, they'll like,
No.
my kids, it's always that they need something or like they need to tell me this elaborate story about.
Like you're not sitting there with
Whatever.
your pants
Yeah,
around your
I know.
ankles.
Oh,
but-
No,
Totally.
that's only one person does it. The guy pooping in the bathroom. I mean, don't put them at their ankles, remember?
Yeah.
But like but yes, that is 100% what happens. Like my kid will just like, I mean, the one time I locked the door to the bathroom because
Oh,
I was
their
like,
life ending.
oh, they literally just sat down on the floor. And they're like, can you see my fingers? What color socks do I have on right now? And I'm like, go away.
Yeah.
And it was like postpartum after
yes.
Theo. So it's like, there's a whole lot of things that you have to do when you're
Yeah.
like in the bathroom just to pee after postpartum. It's like you got the spray and the got to do the whole diaper thing. And it's
Yeah.
just like, huh? And so like, I don't want my kid coming in to see all
Like,
of that hot mess.
traumatize him.
Yes. And, you know, at the time, I'm also like on the toilet, and every mom's been there. So don't tell me that there hasn't been a mom that's been there where it's like your hair is greasy off to one side. You're trying to pee. You're postpartum. So all the nasty is happening. I'm also breastfeeding at the same time. And my kid is like out there having a meltdown because I locked the door because I needed to handle my business by myself with a baby on the boob. And I'm like, and I literally just like one sad tear like trickled down my face because I was like,
I give.
I don't know what to do. Like I know I'm not alone. I
You're
know
not.
100% of moms have been
God,
here,
no.
but in this moment, I feel really alone. Like I feel so
Yes.
alone, and I feel like momming can be such an island, even though you're never really truly alone.
Yeah.
But you have these moments where you just feel so alone. Like I just wanted someone to come up and be like, hey, give mom a minute in the bathroom. Like, let's go do Legos.
Right.
Let's go do this. But instead, my kid's telling me some elaborate thing about dragons and the bridge that they had to build and all of the things. And I'm sitting there like trying to dermaplast my underwear. Like, I'm like, that's my life. This
It's
is
so
where
true,
I am.
though.
It's because
It's
we
so
live in
true.
a society where everything is put on social media and every little thing is shown except for the ugly.
Yes.
Only the good. And I mean the ugly in every sense. Every picture
Mhm.
has some sort of filter on it.
Aren't they the best?
Every caption has a lie in it.
Mhm.
Everything, whether you are trying to be Susie Homemaker or Miss Crafty Crew, you know,
Right.
it's trying to be the best at the best because you see everybody else doing that. If you took 1 second and looked past all of the filters, you would see that they are just like you
Yeah.
all day long, because we are all 3 different people
Yes.
in every sense of the world, especially parenting. But we've all been in that exact situation that Kate's been in.
yeah. Might look completely different.
It
but
does. Because I didn't breastfeed.
Right.
So I didn't have that. I don't know that
Right.
life. I don't know that story. I don't know that. But I am still a mom.
Yep. You've had that
You can-
overwhelming, I can't anymore
Mm-hmm.
in some form or fashion.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, even just, I mean, I bottle fed James. I couldn't breastfeed him.
Yeah.
I bottle fed James. But even then, it was like when I was home by myself, it felt overwhelming sometimes to like get the bottle, warm the bottle, make him eat. Then he, you know, just like Theo, throws up. Like,
Yeah.
and it's the crying and the whatever. It's just like, I can only take so much.
Yep.
Just like Theo today.
Just like Theo.
Theo's
today.
done.
Theo's not having it today.
I don't think any mom, any parent, anybody, whether you're married or not, I think people have this thing of, well, I have a husband, it should be fine, I have help. I don't care.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Well, and
Everybody has
hormones
it.
play such a big role into like that, because no one's gonna do it better than you.
Yep.
When it comes to your kids, a lot of times we feel like no one's gonna do it better than me,
Right.
and you know, no one's gonna put my kid to sleep the same. No one's gonna hold them the same. No
You
one's
can
gonna-
write them a long list of things, because that's what I do. Because my
Me
kid
too.
is very particular about her items that go in her box and the way she likes to go to bed and the way she likes to do things. And her Mimi basically helped raise her, because I worked from her being 2 weeks old
Right.
to now I've worked, you know. So for 4 years she was with her, but now it's a whole new routine. So I'm like, make sure you do this and be here at this time, and we leave at 7:20, and her sandwich has to be cut a specific way, and it's not a full sandwich, it's 2 foldovers, and make sure you use the little muffin tins for the cereal, and make sure you put an animal in a straw and all this. It would be fine if I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But I do it because
It makes you feel
it
good.
makes me
Right.
feel like I
Yeah.
did the most I could do since I'm not there.
Yep. Because I'm not the one physically doing it.
Yes, but I wrote it all out for you. Did you do
Yes.
that? No. Am I going to ask you? No, because I don't
No.
want you to tell me you missed a step or you didn't do this, and then I'm going to be like, okay, I'm so sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Or hear it from your kids. Like, oh,
Yeah.
they did it different or whatever. And it's like, great. Did you still eat? Did you still get fed?
Yeah.
Did you still get loved on? Did you get a bath? Did you go to the bathroom? All the things. And they say yes. And I'm like, great.
Like Jillian doesn't like dad to make her lunch. She only likes mom to make her lunch, because dad makes the sandwiches with peanut butter all the way out to the crust, then puts the sandwich together, folds it, and cuts it. Well, I cut the crust off first, so peanut butter isn't just oozing out the sides, making it messy.
Weird.
Yes.
But
But
kids pick up on that stuff.
she knows that I'm the one that makes it. So she's taught her Mimi to make it the same way.
I guess my kid is probably that way about
But
some things too. Yeah.
She doesn't like when dad does it. So dad had a sandwich out yesterday for her. She goes, Dad, did you make my sandwich? He was like, yeah. She was like, okay, thanks. And just looked at me like, could you clean this up before you put it in my box?
Right?
No, I didn't. I just stuck it in there because dad made a sandwich, and that was great. So I think you can be any mom you want to be.
I don't think there's a right way to
We're
be a
all
mom.
doing our best.
Yeah.
I think you have to find a
It's-
tribe.
Yes. And
I will
sometimes we
say-
screw it up. It's okay.
It's okay to find your tribe late.
It's okay to find your
Yes.
tribe late, and it's okay if your tribe isn't exactly like you. You should have a variety
Yes.
of people so you can
And it-
learn.
It's okay if you outgrow your tribe. You can
Your
find a
tribe
new one.
changes.
Mm-hmm.
I just found a new one.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
I have done that many
So.
times. Yeah.
We wish you the best, and we hope that you have a tribe.
If not, we're happy to be here every week.
Yes. See you guys next time.
Bye. This has been Real Estate Misfit Moms. Don't forget to follow us on socials at Real Estate Misfit Moms and bookmark our podcast so you never miss an episode. Remember, miss, you fit in here.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.